Now available in paperback and e-readers, Spellbound, A Darker Shade of Black. Get your copy today at your favorite online bookseller. If you've read 2015's Spinsterella, The Goth and Lovely Romance, and you've read 2016's Spellbound, which was A Darker Shade of Black, you know that there is a huge gap in between both stories. And I don't like to leave my readers hanging, so I'm going back to the keyboard to finish Matilda Crowley's story with The Legend of Mad Matilda. Now, The Legend of Mad Matilda is going to be the book that fills in all the details between Matilda's baby bat years, which were chronicled in Spellbound, and her elder goth years in Spinsterella. And in this story, which is set in 1995, we're going to learn how Mad Matilda left the industrial rave goth scene to become part of corporate America. And we're going to see her reasons for leaving that industrial goth scene and being a rave promoter, and her starting to transition into corporate America and becoming an event promoter. And in this novel, I'm going to be exploring the goth subculture and how it changed over time and how people change in the goth subculture over time. Because who you are as a baby bat at maybe 13 or 14 years old or 15 or 16 years old is completely different from who you are at 21 years old and when somebody is, fully into the subculture, and who they are at 35 or 40 years old when they become an elder goth. Because as we get older, our roles in the subculture change, and who we are pretty much changes. And I wanted to chronicle that in all three of these books. So when I was working on each book and learning more and more about the subculture, I understood that there are people have different stages in their lives, and they're exploring the subculture and seeing things in the subculture at different stages in their life. So again, who they are at 14 or 15 as a baby bat is completely different from who they are at 21 or 25 when they are in the subculture, and then who they are in their late 30s, early 40s. So each book, pretty much as I designed it, is designed to show you the three different phases a person goes through in the subculture. And in some ways, it's sort of like growing up as I saw it. You have the baby who is growing up to childhood, and that's the baby bat period. Then you have the person who is like an adolescent, which is like the middle period. They're growing up, they're discovering things, they're learning more and more about things, and they're forming their own identity. And then you have the elder who is there to support and try to teach others about the subculture and pass it on to the next generation. So I see it's like growing up from childhood to adulthood, and that's what I wanted to put inside all three books, where we see, all three of these different phases of a person evolving in the subculture as they get older. Because as they get older, they start out, again, as the baby bat. They're just learning the basics, trying to figure things out. Then, as they enter into adolescence, they're trying to form their identity and find their place in the subculture. And then they do find their place. And then when they become the elder, they then come in and try to support and teach others about the subculture. And I felt I had to write this third book because it just wasn't right, to leave that big gap in between and have people guessing and trying to figure out what happened and why she pretty much left one part of the subculture to become a part of another part of the subculture. And I wanted people to see the reasons why she left one part, because again, it all had to do with her growing up from 21 and then coming into it, seeing a larger role for herself and seeing how she could have an impact later on in the subculture. So she went from, being in these raves and in these industrial club parties and saying that, look, I can't, things just changed on her after she graduated college, so she decided what she wanted to be and what role she wanted to play. And that's what a lot of us as adults do. We decide what role we want to play later on, and who we want to be as a kid is not who we want to be as an adult. And as an adult, we want to achieve, different goals. And I wanted to show that transition period and why she had those reasons for doing that. The Legend of Mad Matilda, I'm still working on it, right around the second plot point. And it may be out this year or it may be out next, but I am definitely ready to publish this book. After seeing the positive responses to both Spinsterella and Spellbound, I put this book on the fast track, and I really believe in this book, and I believe that you're going to enjoy it when I release it. You can pick up Spinsterella and Spellbound on Amazon.com or other online retailers in paperback or ebook format right now.